Are you the intern?
Yes, sir, I am. And you must be...
Mr. Kevin Williams. I trust everything will be ready for tomorrow.
Yes, it will be.
Good. How many projectors?
1.
Screens?
2.
Panels?
16.
Images?
552.
Well then, seems like everything's ready for tomorrow. Well then, shall we have a look?
Look at what?
The exhibit, of course. As you enter the gallery space through the stairwell door, you are introduced to the warm glow of the static region. Hundreds of images suspended in acetate sheets help illustrate the magnitude of the films I have done. These images arrange themselves in chronological order, illustrating the timeline of the film, but they are splayed out so that viewers can understand the individual renders and architectural regions that these films are made of. There is a direct contrast between these two regions. There's the static and the moving picture. In layout, these two areas are separated by curtains, creating a visible contrast. And throughout the exhibition, this layout changes. Of course, the artifacts of the images are only varied in what visual content they contain. Some storyboards, some visual renders, others architectural drawings, but all imagery that helps aid and visualize the film in a sense. The acetate sheets allow viewers to peer beyond the image, seeing the various images that also have a visible contrast and relationship to the other drawings. Some of these panels also illuminate, taking the architectural drawings which influence the film and visualizing where they appear in the finalized rendered cinematic work, taking the static architectural drawings and illuminating to where they become moving images.
You sort of understand the exhibit a bit better now, do you?
Sorta. I get it a bit better now.
Of course, that's just the artifacts of the exhibit. There's also the behavior as well.
What do you mean by behavior?
Well, the behavior of the exhibit, of course.
The behavior of the exhibit changes throughout the day. These moving images and static stones don't stay the same throughout the course of the exhibition. Of course, instead of entering through the large obelisk stairwell door, you can enter through the main gallery entrance to the side. You are introduced to a conventional wall-mounted screen displaying, well, typical media, but as you pull the curtain back in a rather dramatic sense, you are revealed to the immersed space, and as the exhibit changes its behavior throughout the course of the exhibition time, the dramatic effect of this space changes as well. It starts off initially as a small, insignificant projection, so minuscule that you can barely see it, but as it grows larger and larger in size, and as the curtain divides the space more and more, you become fully immersed in the exhibit until it becomes a fully immersive zone, where you become a part of the exhibit. As the hierarchy of the space changes several days in, you not only become plunged into the immersion, you become a part of the immersion. The quality of this immersive space changes too, as the screen becomes more part of the architecture of the gallery space. Of course, this realizes an even greater quality that comes through film. It becomes an immersive experience, not one seen two-dimensionally or even three-dimensionally, but something four-dimensional in a sense, where you can experience it in both space and time. You become a part of the architecture itself.
Of course, the behavior of the exhibit is supposed to also be in discussion with other people, contemporaries as such, but fortunately we don't have that circumstance, so you're sort of left to really, well, imagine the discussion panel.
Imagine?
Well, yes, you sort of have to imagine yourself as, well, other people. It's all rather a bit strange.
So, you all are supposed to be my... Well, I suppose we'd be your...
We're your discussion panel.
It's very interesting. The discussion panel, I must say. Well, I guess then, what do you all think about architecture and film? I guess more importantly, the cinematics of film. Well, to do something with film is to document its cinematic worth, its own moving picture that creates a narrative that you're able to show to other people.
I don't normally do film, do architectural projects, but these films you do are an expression, a visualization of these realms of architecture that we don't normally see. And what I believe is that light to a building is what sound is to music. These films are the music of your thoughts, really. That's an interesting notion, but what do films do? What can they do that the camera, simply can? What can it do? What can it not do? The camera can do anything you and I can see and cannot see. Hell, it takes half a day to learn how to use a bloody camera. It's the least mysterious object on the earth. What's more mysterious is what's up in here.
You're able to persuade the audience with these stories you make, taking from proposals that necessarily are just left as mere words. We as filmmakers and designers have a duty to essentially visualize these works, mixing cinematics, drama, design, and creating a narrative that makes the audience feel very much connected to the story, just as much connected as you and me.
Ignorance, pure ignorance. You have to be ignorant in the fact that what you make today is not your best work. Hell, if I believe Citizen Kane was the best film, then why bother even making the rest? It's pure ignorance.
He's got a point.
You have to be ignorant in the fact that what you make isn't asked for. The world doesn't ask for movies. They're simply made because they ought to be made. You have to be ignorant in that fact. It's a matter of how you orchestrate them and conduct them that creates these visualizations which, paired with the narratives that we create a sense of understanding in these architectural projects that we do. It's fascinating that all these facets can be done in architecture. The pragmatic sense of what architecture can be, the cinematic narrative that we are able to create as filmmakers and designers, and us being almost like directors in a sense, where we fabricate these elaborate stories, and it all compiles itself into, I guess, my architectural practice, but obviously influence from all of you. Of course, none of us are real. It's all in your head. He's right, I guess you're right. But
Kevin.
what?
All right, sir.
I'm fine. I had a really strange dream, I must say. Seems like we arrived. Everything has a cause and reaction. The wind against the leaves, birds pecking at the ground, a duck gracefully moving across the lake, how the water ripples long after the stone's been thrown.
There's one thing to take from what this exhibition does after it's long gone and dusted, is that cinematics and architecture are very much entwined, and as I've explained in my prior works and in prior films, there's a very important relationship that film has with architecture, seeing visualized media, but also seeing the amount of work that goes into these films and having a connection to the architectural drawings. The artifacts framed in these acetate sheets are rather simple. They are not models, but they do a job where they illustrate the storyboard-like nature of these works, of these films and narratives we create. And from that, we get a personalized relationship between architecture and our own understanding. Like watching a movie, we become enamored by it and relate to it.
But I guess that's my own thoughts of how the gallery's effect will be. But I guess it's an interesting thought to ponder the effect. I wouldn't really know it exactly, but
I guess we'll have to see.
I guess we will.